Hey, it's Naturopathic Medicine Week, and I'm Dr. Brianna Botsford, the founder of Flow Functional Healthcare in Edmonton and a naturopathic doctor myself. This week is a time to celebrate naturopathic doctors, whole person care, and taking charge of your health from the inside out. This week, we're sitting down with our patients and colleagues who want to share their unique experience working with naturopathic doctors. Whether you're curious about natural medicine or ready to feel inspired to take action for your health, you're in the right place. Okay, we are back with our Naturopathic Medicine Week celebration. And today I'm here with Andrea. Andrea, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found naturopathic medicine?
I sure can. Thanks for asking. I am, like most people, super busy in my life. I wear, a couple different hats in my work life. I work for a large athletic apparel corporation. I also have my own run coaching and coaching business called Startline Coaching. And I am also an endurance athlete. So I'm a marathon runner. I love participating in, big races, big events. And I'm also aging and getting older. I called it the march towards 50.
Hmm.
I really started noticing some changes in my health. I think that were impacting a lot of different areas of my life. Really felt like, as someone who takes a lot of pride in being able to function at a very high level in the many hats I wear, my jobs, my running, my relationships with my friends and family. I just noticed some things starting to really get in the way of that and really felt like I didn't have any answers through my own research and through what I was really achieving with Western medicine. So it caused me to just, seek out a different way of looking at the problem or the problems I was having to maybe get a different kind of support in hopes of being able to maintain and continue doing the things I love to do, functioning in the way that I want to function.
And that's like the ultimate goal, right? Is like we want you to be able to continue to do the things that you love and that you want to do. And I think, like you said, like you perform in so many different levels of your life or so many different domains of your life at a very high level. And when things start to feel like you're not quite where you would like to be, it's like, okay, what else? What's missing? Like what can I do differently here?
Yes, definitely.
So, what surprised you about working with a naturopathic doctor? Like, was there anything that you were surprised by, or you were like, oh, I didn't think that would be part of the conversation?
I don't know if it was a surprise. I don't know that I really had an expectation of this, but one thing that I really appreciated, I would say, is the collaborative approach with
Hmm.
what I knew and believed about Western medicine. I think, just having the time to really talk through with the naturopathic doctor, I think on a deeper level about some of the symptoms or things I was experiencing, and then how the function and the science and the work of naturopathic medicine could work in tandem in partnership with what we know about Western medicine. It didn't ever feel like it's like you have to do this or you have to do this. It was the and. Like, we can do
Hmm.
this and we can do this to
Hmm.
support the health outcome of, or for me. So that was one thing I think that I was just so appreciative of, was always just feeling like it was true collaboration. And also, I think, like, coming from a space where I really had only seen a very traditional, like, doctor that many people are used to seeing, I'm used to
Hmm.
sort of going in the office and I know I've got like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, I've got to be quick.
Yeah.
I've got to, like, okay, like, what are the things I really need to say and highlight? So I think one thing that was really surprising was, I'll call it the gift of time, and really
Hmm.
being able to, like, dig into, like, okay, here are the issues I'm experiencing. And I think I just felt like really heard, and honestly, not like what was happening was crazy. Like, I felt
Right.
really validated in the things that I was experiencing versus going, when time is limited, feeling like I came out not feeling like, either I didn't represent my problems really well because time was really short, or not feeling like, where we got to was like the right path for me to go down to be able to solve the problems. So I think those were the two biggest things I would highlight.
And it's so interesting because it's like you kind of need the time in order to do the collaboration, right? Like it's like when you only have 5 to 7 minutes, which I always like it's nobody's fault. Like, that's the way our
Yeah.
system is set up, right? It's not like GPs are like, "Oh, like, you just that's all I can do." It's like they probably would love to spend more time with you, but we're restricted in so many ways for so many different reasons. And being, that I have the luxury of billing for my time, I have that option to sit down and be like, "Okay, so let's dig deeper into all of these different things." And then here's the like buffet of options, if you will, like this plus this, or conventionally, this is the option, naturopathically, this will work with that or it won't. And so we have like that time allows us to give you the opportunity for collaborative care and collaborative understanding, right? So that, like you said, like when you leave the appointment, you feel like more confident that it's the right decision, even if like you
Yes.
leave my office and you've chosen like a conventional approach. It's like you still feel good about that instead of being like questioning, like, is this really the right thing? Like, I didn't really get a full understanding of like how or like why we're doing this, right?
Yeah, that's one thing I would say I've always really appreciated about time in a naturopathic doctor's office is I feel like I leave having actually learned something about like here's maybe why I might be experiencing this and here's again possible solutions. Like the best example I could use is I didn't really understand my own hormones and like what was
Mm.
changing as a function of just my age and the stage I found myself in life. And
Mhm.
I think that's something that probably everyone should know, and for whatever reason, I didn't really know, right? So, I felt like once I had a better understanding of that, like, you're able to, like, then actually, like, identify that, like, there's not just something wrong with me. I'm not, like, making this up in my head. There's potentially a
Mhm.
reason for this, and there's also possible solutions, which again felt really, really good to me because I felt very like, I felt very hopeless at times, like, is this just
Yeah.
literally how I'm gonna feel till the end of my
Yeah.
days? You know?
Is this just me now? Yeah. No, and it's like I love that you said that because I know there's gonna be other people that hear that and think like, "Oh, yeah, like, it's not just me. I'm not alone." Like, and I'm also not the only one who doesn't understand my hormones, right? Because I think it's like this with so much information that's accessible, it's like we feel like, "Oh, I ought to know," but there's also like, how could you? How could you know all of those things? Like, it takes us took me like, decades of schooling to have this understanding, and I'm still learning every single day, and I have the joy of participating in like learning about the new research that's coming out and having that deeper level of understanding. And it's like your full-time job isn't to understand your hormones, like, right? Like you have all those
Totally.
other hats that you wear. So like my job is to help you understand that in a way that's like accessible regardless of your like biochemical or endocrinology background, right? Because lots of us haven't looked at what like a menstrual cycle looks like hormonally since like grade 12 biology or whatever, right? So, and
Right.
maybe you have, and that's great. Like have we bring different levels of understanding to the room, and then getting on the same page by the time we leave, I think is really valuable. So, yeah.
And I think too, like, the added layer for me was all at the and I'm training for marathons
Right.
and, you know, feeling as a running coach, like, I really
Mhm.
understand how to do that, and I
Mhm.
don't really understand how to do that within the new context of, like, what's happening in my physiology. I mean, yeah,
Right.
I know, like, what the physical running part needs to look like. I understand what it takes to get to the through the training and to the finish line of a marathon and I think where I was really being thwarted is like, but how do I get to the start line healthy, knowing that like
Right.
things are really changing? All of the different things that we were able to look at that I probably wouldn't have thought were having the impact they were having, which maybe are
Mhm.
obvious, but I think it took these conversations of really understanding rest and recovery, proper nutrition and hydration at this point in my life, not just like what it looked like, 20 years ago is very
Totally.
different. So that was also, I think, just like really helpful for me from the perspective of an athlete.
Mhm.
I mean, I like to consider myself that way as an athlete. I like to
100%.
say if you're running, you're an athlete and you have to look
Yeah.
at health a bit differently
Mhm.
and the supports that I might need, in this, like, kind of phase of life that is very different than it once was. So I've also just really, like, gained a lot of knowledge and how to look after myself that way also.
And I think, like, as athletes, we have this expectation, or, like, maybe it's not an expectation, could even be subconscious, right? Where we're like, "It's just gonna be the same as it was when I was in my 20s." Like, maybe I'll get faster, maybe I'll get slower, maybe I'll change sports, but, like, I'll still be able to get away with whatever I did for recovery and nutrition and sleep and all those things. And then all of a sudden we realize, like, "Oh, wait, like, what I used to do actually isn't what's gonna support me now." And so it's like, it's not that that's, it's not to shame or blame or anything like
Mm-mm.
that. It's just more that, like, okay, like, we're changing, our bodies are changing, our physiology is changing, our needs are changing, and we, like, can apply that very easily at different stages of life, right? Like, when you look at a teenage athlete that's going through puberty or something, you're like, okay, like, your needs are changing, like, you're getting more muscle, you're getting, like, right, like, other things are happening. But then when we look at, like, midlife, our athletic life expectancy is so much longer than it once was. And so, like, we actually have to transition what we're doing to support the unique needs of, like, midlife and beyond, because we want to stay in the sport as long as we can, right?
Yes, most definitely. If for nothing else, for my own mental health, my mental and emotional health.
You and me both.
And I think to hear things like, I mean, some of the, I'd say like the symptoms that I really experienced that were impacting me, like lack of sleep, headaches,
Mhm.
things like that. Again, I just sort of had got to a point where I was like, I guess this is just the way it is. Like, this is just the way I'm now going to feel. Like, I'm never going to have a good night's sleep again,
But
which I've learned through, the care I've received through Flow Clinic and the naturopathic doctors is, oh no, like we could do better. Like we might
Mhm.
not ever be the same, but we could definitely do better. And I think that
Mhm.
just again gave me a lot of hope and
Mhm.
a reason to believe that like, oh, like yeah, it might not be exactly how 30-year-old Andrea experienced it because I'm not at that phase of life, but it certainly doesn't mean that it's just over or can't be good.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that, because we want to keep that longevity in life, but also, like, in the things that we want to do, like you said, for our mental and our emotional health, right? It's so valuable. What's one thing that you would say to somebody who's unsure about seeing a naturopathic doctor, or something that you wish people understood more about naturopathic care?
I think first of all, I think be willing to be proactive in your own health and try. That
Mm.
for me was the thing is like, well, I need to be proactive in my own health and like this is something I'm going to try. So it is worth
Mhm.
going for one appointment and seeing what is possible. So I think it's like being in the spirit and the realm of possibility of what could maybe be. And it might be like anything. Like maybe the first person you meet with might not be the exact right person for you, but they also
Right.
could be. And I think you would learn as you go. Like I always say, one of the reasons why I was really excited to work with you is I know we share a love of endurance sports. So I knew that you
Mhm.
would really understand that part of this for me and why that was important. Whereas I felt like I'd seen other care providers who were a bit like,
Mhm.
well, like, just don't do that anymore. I was a bit like, like, wait, what? That's probably not what I need. So I'd say that just be open to the possibility. And then I think to the people that think it's like way out there or totally weird, it's really not. It's really, really not. Like when I
Mhm.
think about the conversations we've had in office, again, like so much learning about like hormones, how to support that. When I think of again the issues I've had with sleep, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
how do we look at like what's really causing this and what are some ways some of them I would say are not even necessarily like you're not having to like take anything. It's just like, oh,
You're
have you
right.
considered this to like improve your sleep? Or have you considered this with headaches? And like now let's look at like nutrition and
Right.
fueling and how that might be impacting. So I do see it as like such a great collaborative thought partnership.
Mhm.
And um, it's not weird. It really is not
It's not.
weird. Like I'm the first person to say, like, I'm just like an average human who wants to participate fully in my life. And I've never sat in a naturopath's office and thought, that's weird. And if you did think that was weird, you could also just say that and say, I don't know if that way of approaching the problem is really for me, because there's not one way to approach
Totally.
a problem. There's many ways.
Yeah. And I always tell patients that too. It's like, if I recommend something that you don't think is going to work for you, fit for you, or just like doesn't feel aligned, like those are things we want to workshop, right? Like we want to work together to figure out like what is that? Is it not actually going to fit in your life, or is it just like out there advice that you're not interested in? And that's okay. That's okay too, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
we want to meet each other and have that like teamwork vibe when we're coming up with the treatment plan and what the next steps are.
I also try to remember, like, I'm not the expert. That's why I'm here. So, like, I might have
Mm.
an opinion about something based on something I've read or something I saw on social media or from, like, my experience. Like, I always say, like, I grew up in a family that was very, like, Western medicine oriented. My dad is a pharmacist. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm a believer in, like, I just like a traditional, like, you go to the
Yeah.
doctor and then you go to the pharmacy and you get the thing that the doctor prescribed and you just
Yeah.
take it. Um, and I think that there's, like I said, there's room for both.
Mhm.
And I think what I have always really appreciated about this model, again, is the conversation, being heard, the
Mhm.
multiple, like, if you're uncomfortable with this, we could also try this, which
Yeah.
I think is just, to me, as someone who is very considerate and considered about my health. And I know that, my best possibility to participate in endurance sports when I'm 100
Mhm.
is to, like, look after myself, like, the best I can now for that future. I'm
Mhm.
really willing to, like, turn over all the stones, as I like to say. So I think, like, this is a
Yeah.
stone worth turning over, to be proactive in your own health and wellness.
Yeah. I love that. And you said earlier, you're like, I'm an average person. I'm like, you're way above average in so many ways. And it's like and like being supported in that performance. I'm happy to hear that you've felt so supported and like that collaborative approach and the education piece has all been there. And then really feeling like heard and held through like the highs and lows of our health journeys and life journeys is really important to me. So I'm so grateful that that has come through for you.
I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. I so appreciate you being in my world and being willing to share your experiences. I'm sure people got something out of this, a tidbit that they will take with them, and I will see you again soon. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, and a huge thank you to our guest for sharing their story today. If this conversation sparked something in you, don't wait. We're here to help. You can schedule a complimentary 15-minute visit with one of our naturopathic doctors at Flow Functional Healthcare in Edmonton today, or give us a follow, like, or share this video to help us help more people live healthier, more energized lives.